Alright guys, what is going on? So today we are going to be installing a nGauge on the 2014 GT500. So this should serve for most S197 if you are looking to install an nGauge in the vent. I have an adapter set from Ferraro Speed, and I also got the nGauge from Ferraro Speed. So we're going to install that. I put the old nGauge that I had back in the truck, got a new one for the GT500, so we're going to mount it in the vent. That way it's off to the side where I can see it, but it's not a pain with wires and everything all over the place. So if you guys are new here, this is my 2014 GT500. We're gonna hop in here. So I've been regretting installing this for a while because of how hot it is here in Florida, but we'll try to take things slow so I don't get soaked in sweat. And by that, I mean it's literally 94 degrees out. No, Siri. So let me grab the nGauge part. Alright, so I actually opened up my nGauge and have been using it already. Just plugged it in to view some data. We got the original box here, has the mount thing for the back of it. And then in here we have the actual mounting hardware to put it in the vent. So I think there's an instructional guide right here. We're gonna look at this and then we'll tell you how to do things, and hopefully we don't break any plastic here. Alright, so this is a little scary. I think this might help if I put the steering wheel all the way down, maybe? So I heard that you just pull the cluster bezel. I just don't want to break anything, but I guess it just literally pulls. Yep, that is literally it. I hate doing that in cars, but we pulled the whole bezel out. There is literally no bolts and there's no nice way to do that. Just pull on it. Don't break anything. That's the only advice I have for you. And the AC vent is fairly easy. There's 4 clips around here. I'm gonna need 2 hands to do it, but that's also fairly easy to go ahead and get swapped out. So let me do that real quick. Literally, I think I just pull on these tabs while holding it with 2 hands. I have the camera in 1 hand right now, so I'm just going to do that and then I will update you guys. Alright, so I removed the vent from the back of this. I do know that this had an nGauge in it before, so this came apart pretty easily, and actually some of the clips were already broken. I know that's literally the only modification that was done to the vehicle before was the off-road mid-pipe, and a Lund nGauge was over here in the vent. I am redoing this, obviously, because I didn't get the nGauge with it, but you can see that some of these clips are kind of broken, so just be careful. Mine's already broken, so not too big of a deal, but I pulled this piece off and I pulled the vent out. We're also going to use something to block the AC vent, and then we're going to route the wires down below so they're not in our way. Alright, so this actually takes a little bit more thinking than you would think. So this back piece goes here on the back. You got your screws that run through. Then you have 2 that mount to the front nGauge part. You mount this in the bezel, or the AC bezel, and you also take out your AC vent stuff. I'm going to keep this if I ever want to return it back, but you basically gut these things out of the vent, and then from there you mount the chrome bezel to the AC vent with all this fastened together. So it's kind of a little tricky and takes a second to figure out, but once you figure it out, I mean, this is all together. All I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna run my nGauge wire down here to the OBD2 port down there, plop this in place, and we are good to go. Here's a little bit of a better look, so you can see this is your nGauge cup that comes with the nGauge. You have 2 bolts here. It actually kind of bolts crooked, and 1 bolt is longer than the other. That way this kind of angles towards you. On the back, that bolts this plate with some screws, with some long, narrow things for some screws to go through. This mounts the back plate. This keeps this tight. Then we put this on the plate there. So what we're gonna do right now is take our nGauge wire, which this part seems pretty simple because there's actually a good amount of space to drop something right through here. And I believe this should, once I get 2 hands, should drop right down where the OBD2 port is. So give me just a second and we'll get this routed down there. I don't think I can do one hand. I'm gonna use two hands, put down the camera. All right, so this is pretty much the finishing stages. I took 2 microfiber towels, I stuffed them down the AC vent. This is gonna block the AC flow off, basically make it higher powered over here, no power over here, and prevent condensation. I ran the nGauge wire from here, and if you actually run it down below here, you can actually see below the pedals and my feet. So it just drop it, let it gravity fall. Plug in your OBD2 port right there, and then I'm gonna bunch up the wire right here because there's actually quite a bit of room. So, and then we'll pop the nGauge right into place. All right, so just like that, we plopped our wire right through there, plopped this in, let it snap in place, nothing broke, and we will pop our wire into here. Now you do want to be able to access this and have enough length here so that you can pull this out and get your SD card, or obviously you can use the plug too if you wanted to there, so that you can get your data logs and other things out. Alright, and once you do that, you can go ahead and get to your gauges. And the thing that's cool about this is, notice that it is off center. So that's actually on purpose. So the reason why is because when you're here at the steering wheel, I know it's a glare for you guys, but it is not for me. When you're looking at your steering wheel and looking left, you can actually see the gauges still, while if it's off and face to the right, basically you wouldn't be able to see it. So from my view, I can see all my gauges perfectly, and that is why it is slightly off center. Now in terms of AC flow, which is going to be a common question, you're going to have just a higher flow over here and we should be perfectly fine. And now you can see you can monitor your important information. I usually keep it on a 4-digit screen. I like to watch downstream air temperature, engine coolant temp, knock, and an air to fuel ratio on one bank. Now if I go ahead and click here, I can go ahead and start a log very quickly and easily, and it'll record all of the PIDs that I have selected. Oops, I actually X'd out of here. But basically that will record anything that I have started, not just the ones that I'm displaying, but all, I think 16 or so, which if we go here to signal, you can see that we star them off over there, and it's hard to see with the camera to this screen, but you can see that that is starred, so it logs anything that I star there. So this is good to go. I am happy that it is done and we didn't get too sweaty in the process, and it is very hot here. So I'm glad this is done, and that is now mounted and off the windshield, which makes things super easy to see. Alright guys, I hope that helped you guys out on installing the nGauge vent mount. I'll leave a link in the description to the parts that I use, including the nGauge and the mounting hardware. So that is now installed. I'm super happy. It is a little bit difficult to kind of figure out, but once you figure it out, it's pretty easy. And it's a little scary pulling off that gauge bezel, but it literally just pulls out. There's no easy way to do it. So make sure you slap the like button down below if you are new here, hit the subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one. Alright guys, check it out. So we are driving right now. We're seeing 174 coolant temp. We're seeing 109 downstream air temperature, which is fantastic.